Go-Go Loser Ranger is more than just a Power Ranger parody. You have the training arc that brings you back to the good old cadet days of Attack on Titan. The mystery arc that brings you that classic anime school rooftop scene. In between all of this, you have some really interesting, really uniquely designed characters that bring the world to life. You know, like in Power Rangers, how everything's just so corny and cheesy. Villains are just like the most outrageous thing you've ever seen. These like goofy leather-looking monsters that just bob around. It's crazy how they portray all of that in Go-Go Loser Ranger and make it so much more serious. The villains, the boss monsters in Go-Go Loser Ranger are actually terrifying. As a Power Ranger fan, when you're a kid and you're experiencing that and you're like, wow, this is crazy. Like, I think all this stuff is so serious. And then you grow up and you realize how corny it is. It's crazy how this anime can bring you back to that, bring you back to the feeling of fear and the feeling of adventure and of action in these scenes where they're clearly just jabbing directly at Power Rangers all the time in this, and it's beautiful. And it also tells a great protagonist story. Fighter D is just some henchman under the boss monsters. He's just another one of those guys that you saw out on the field that gets his ass kicked by the Power Rangers. He's tired of being under this corrupt reign of the Rangers, or should I say, the Keepers, and their Sunday showdown. What I find so constantly endearing about Fighter D is that he has this passion to take over the world like Luffy has to become king of the pirates. It's amazing. He fights tooth and nail for what he believes in, and eventually he starts fighting both Ranger and Monster because he won't let anyone stand in his way. The craziest thing about it is that for a lot of the time, he's undercover, and like the Rangers, they don't know that he's a fighter. They think he's one of them. He grows these bonds with these characters, the cadets, the Rangers, all of the positions within the Ranger force. He learns about them, and he has very good friendships with them. What I love about Fighter D is that he has this giant secret to hide, and he's constantly trying to stay informed and ensure that no one is going to uncover him. But along the way, as he develops relationships with the Ranger Force, he learns that almost everyone else he meets also has their own secrets. And it's almost like because of that, whenever some of the characters do figure out that he's a fighter, it's not as big of a deal as he thought it would be, or it is more of a personal thing to that character rather than, the overall consensus throughout the city that, oh, monsters are bad. The Rangers, or should I say Keepers, are all so unique. Blue Keeper, with this criminal upbringing and being guided by Red into becoming a hero, sort of reminds me of Batman for some reason. He has this sense of justice where he really is kind of like a good guy, but he'll still do almost anything aside from murder to ensure that justice is done. Red Keeper, oh boy, where do I start? People could say Homelander clone, but I think he's more than that. First of all, he's an absolute psycho, which doesn't, I guess, really do anything to separate him from the people who say he's a clone of someone. Even after watching the second season, I get the vibe that there was some time where he was maybe a decent person when he was really young, or when he first started off being the Red Keeper, because whenever he meets Blue, whenever Blue is just a criminal and Red Keeper's some sort of like a Green Arrow vigilante kind of thing, it seems like that he genuinely did something decent there. But regardless, the guy is a loose cannon. He can't control his anger. He obviously cares about the wrong things when it comes to his quote-unquote friends and teammates. And he's quite manipulative. And he's pretty much the main reason for a lot of the bad stuff going on. So Yeah, Green, I really want to avoid spoilers on this guy because it's really cool. I think Green is great, and I think they maybe did the best with Green, and I'm just gonna let you wait until season 2 to see what happens with him. But or I mean them, or I mean it. Sorry. Anyways, well, boys, I'm just gonna be honest here. Pink is pretty great. Her background is that she is related to someone important, and she has a condition. But whenever she goes into the Pink Ranger mode, she doesn't have that condition anymore. And so that's all I'll say about that. Yellow, I'm gonna be honest, I gotta leave Yellow a mystery as well. Yellow is definitely something to wait for until season 2. I was really unsure about Yellow, and I'm kind of happy where they put Yellow on the good to evil scale. I think it was perfect. I think it really balances out the rest of the team with like all of their dynamic and stuff like that. Hisui, Suzukiri, Usakubo, and Tokita are some amazing supporting characters with great designs, and it's surprising to see just how much they influence Fighter D along the way. Lord Peltrola is an amazing antagonist, and he's one of the boss monsters, and his introduction is just like unsettling, dude. Like it's done so well, at least in my opinion. When you go into this show with knowing really nothing about it, not looking into it at all. Like me, I went in with like mild to low expectations. I got pleasantly surprised by this boss, this antagonist, these characters, and I really think that it's worth a watch. I think that the world is filled with life, and it's a joy to watch. It's obviously not the greatest show ever, but I do think it is something worth using to pass the time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and have a great rest of your day.